Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Lex the Gray here. Now, we are going to start a new adventure. This will be on the Single Sheet Adventures by Perplexing Ruins. It can be found on itch. Ironically, or I should say thankfully, one of the documents available when you download it has this fairly generic mini character sheet that, for the most part, matches alongside Maze Rats, which I will be using for this video. So I have Strength, Dexterity, and Will. There is no spot for attack bonus, but that's what I chose for my path. I gave my character 4 more HP of 8 just give him a extra hand because he'll be the only character in this solo RPG. He has the usual starting of 8 armor total. We're going to now roll how much currency he has because there's a spot here for coins. And let's say he has 7. So 7 coins. His name, our character name, player character, is Orion, which I think I've used before in an older video. I don't recall. Weapon of choice is short sword, dagger. He has light armor, which is the starting default. No helmet yet, no helm. Shield +1. The items I rolled up here, the 6 starting inventory items: bear trap, crowbar, hand drill, monocles, rations 3, vial of poison. His features, if they do play any part in the narrative, he's grizzled, has burnt scars, his background is gravedigger, he's tasteless, suspicious, and stutters. So I'm thinking he's a fairly isolated person as a gravedigger. He's very to himself. He's not the most, let's say, trusting of people, but perhaps him attempting his first adventure, with which this will be, might change him as a person. But we'll see how much we focus on narrative compared to simply just doing an exploration crawl of this hex system that we're using here. So, like I said, this is single sheet adventures, and it has this oracle system on the outskirts of the sheet itself. We will first determine where we're going to start, and before I begin the rolling of the dice, I'm going to label the hex here so we know where we leave, where as a legend. Okay, so you might not be able to see it, but I have 1 through 29 here to represent each horizontal hex from this position, and then A, B, C, D, and so forth, going this way. So that way we know that the middle here could potentially be, I think, 14H is the middle. So let's roll to see where we start. I will roll a D30, which I don't have just yet coming in from for DCC, but we will just have to use a D10 and a D20. Oh, this is where our character will start horizontally. I'm sorry, vertically. 25. Okay. Then we need, let's see, we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I will do a D10 again with a D4. So we're on 25. And we're going to start at, that's going to be, let's say, 2. So 25, we'll have to change that to 26B. So we'll start here. This will be our starting location. And just kind of highlight that here. So 26B is where we'll start. And we are going to roll an explore die, which is right here below my name, of course, blocked out by the camera, which gives us a starting point for our adventure. Now, let's think of a reason before we do that. I almost forgot. Why is our character doing what he is doing? Why did he leave his grave digging, his night job, to pursue some type of adventure? Now, there are some options we have on the back. This is where we keep track of locations, NPCs we meet, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough tracking. We have notes, threads, and quests, which is fairly small, so I'm thinking I might need another piece of paper later down the road if this goes on for more than one episode, because I don't have a name yet for this video. But these are our this is our section here to generate a quest. So let's figure out what exactly is our Orion is doing. So first, attack, kill, or destroy an old god. So we'll see how that translates for us as we develop a little more. For treasure, find and recover treasure. Let's see. Knowledge, we have to deliver. 6, explore, discovery, survive, and escape. All right, so on your path, prison. So out of all these potential options here, I'm not going to use every single one, but I'm thinking, let's see, we have a treasure, something that's manageable that makes sense as a starting adventure. I don't think a god would be something to start with, so I'm going to disregard that one. A treasure, potentially. I think something that Orion overheard or found could be an option, so I'm going to mark that one as a potential. Uh, Knowledge could is also manageable as a starting of quest. A creature potentially could be an obstacle. I'll keep my hand on that, finger on that one. A new path, maybe Orion is just bored of being a gravedigger. Something happened or something changed his mind. Prison time. This one is the most interesting out of all of these options that I kept. Creature, I'm willing to go through for the prison one. So, Orion stumbled upon treasure when he was preparing a grave for a recently deceased villager. And in that treasure, there was a note that had some significant knowledge regarding a prison. The treasure could have been buried at the graveyard he works at. Perhaps there was nothing in the treasure itself. He dug up an empty sack of what would have been filled with gold pieces, but he found rocks in the sack and a note that had a mention of a prison that he's familiar with. So the prison is written on a parchment, a letter, and perhaps there is the creature one. I think I'm going to get rid of. The path, perhaps he sees this as an opportunity of something interesting for his life. Like I said, maybe he's been a grave digger for 10, 15 years of his life, and so perhaps he's in his 40s, 30s, 40s, and he found this empty sack buried in a grave, and there was just stones in it. So he was expecting treasure, something worthwhile for him to keep, but it was just a note. It was a letter addressed to a prison. Okay, so that is a potential option. So let's write down, we'll say found prison letter. Okay, so he found a letter with the prison on it. You know what? I thought of something different. So I'm going to remove prison, but I'm keeping the knowledge. I just had an interesting idea. I'm going to use the artifact. So he found while he was digging a grave, making room, like I said, for another deceased individual, as his job would be, he found an artifact. And the artifact, when he held it, picked up out of the grave, gave him a vision. And the vision was of the prison. So I'm keeping prison in there, and I think that is now how all of these connect to each other. Okay, so artifact, vision, prison. So when he touched the artifact, he blacked out. He saw a vision of a prison. Perhaps it was on a coastline overlooking a bay. It was dark, gritty, full moon, cloudy, harsh, like full moon, but clouds in the sky. And the prison had one huge tower with a light source coming out of one of the windows. So that is what he saw in his vision. And there's a trail leading up to this prison that's heavily fortified. It's a large prison on the side, on a hillside overlooking a bay, an ocean, a cliffside of an ocean. So that's what he saw. And now what I'm thinking is that this location here is a grave site. It's his graveyard where he works. So we're going to put a gravestone here, like a cross, to signify that that is his starting. That's where he works. That's where he's kind of from. So I'm going to name that. That's going to be 26B. That's location. This will be our first location. 26B. And we'll say the name is going to be, got some names down here as settlements. We'll call it let's roll two D6s. There's settlement names right down here on the bottom right. 2, 6. So 2 is this one, 6. Low, okay. 3, 5. Low white. Low white. Okay, that works. So the low white. Yeah, I think that's okay. Low white, low hill, hill low. The hill yard. Let's call it that. Wasn't really liking that other one, so we'll call it the hill yard. The hill yard site. Hill yard site. It's a graveyard. That's where he works. And then, sorry, I couldn't stand it. Changed my mind. Thorn Graveyard. That's what it's called. I saw Thorn. I'm like, that's even better. So 26B is Thorn Graveyard. That's where our guy is from or works. And I'm guessing there's a village nearby. Now, how far is his home village where he lives located? Let's roll 2D. Let's roll a D4. Okay, so 3 hexes away. Let's say it's right here. This is 28D. This will be a village, so we'll put a little house here, like that, with some trees around it. There we go. Okay, so that's where he lives. 28D. Okay, now 28D will be, the village name is going to be, let's roll for it. Okay, so 3, 6. Clouded Haven. Cloud Haven, perhaps. Cloud Haven. Oh, Cloud Haven. I like that. Cloud Haven. Cloud Haven. Cloud Haven. With a, let's put it with a clay. Let's put it with a K. And let's slightly modify it. Clohaven. There we go. Yeah, that works. I like that. Okay, so Clohaven. That's where our guy is from. So let's write that down in his notes. Orion is from his home is Cloud Clowhaven. That's a village. All right. That's just a future note for myself to remember. So I'm not necessarily taking notes during this this adventure. Um, it'll be the video itself. It'll be the notes. Okay, so just making sure I have everything down here. All right, so he finds that artifact and he blacks out. He has a vision of a prison. He wakes up. He fell into the grave and he wakes up. It's morning. It I He's the only person who works there. There is uh, a crow on top of the grave looking right at him. He wakes up, he sees a crow. The crow flies away, and I'm going to say it's foggy out. He stands up in the grave. It's partially dug, it's not completely finished. And he climbs himself out of the grave. He's looking around. So remember, his character is grizzled, burn scars, tasteless, suspicious, and stutters. So he's still to himself. So it's basically heaven for him. But the vision of the prison kind of gave him a little kick. He's looking around. He's looking at all the graves he's dug at this yard for 10 plus years. Gloomy, it's dark, even though it's morning, it's still the fog is seeping in into the hillside, and he's just thinking of what that prison means to him. For some reason, that prison means something to him, and I already have an idea what it is. Like I feel like I already have the end game in mind for this whole adventure if it does pan out. But he feels a personal connection to the prison, and he believes he needs to go find out why. So he sees the shovel that he dropped from earlier last night when he fell into the grave. He picks it up. He has the artifact is, let's see if the artifact is still on the ground. Does it say, did he drop it inside the we can use this oracle. There is an oracle here, but it doesn't have any modifiers on it. So let's use my usual D100 oracle. Did the oracle did the artifact fall into the grave itself, or is it just on the ground next to the grave? I'm gonna say 50-50. Did it fall into the grave? It did. So he sees the artifact kind of where his feet were. So he bends into the grave and picks it up. So we'll add artifact as a star quest item right there. So right now he doesn't necessarily have all these items here equipped, like the sword, the armor. He's That stuff is back in his storage, his yeah, his storage area, uh, his shack, back where the at the front of the graveyard. So he takes the artifact, he puts it in his uh, let's say what does the artifact look like? Let's figure it out. So I'm gonna draw the artifact in the notes. What I was thinking is that the artifact, for some reason, I was thinking like it looks like this, and there's like a circle inside, and it kind of has these. It's 360, so it has all these little arrows pointing out, but it has a solid surface like that. Each corner kind of has a complete surface to it, if that makes sense. But that's basically what I see, like that. And the ball, there's a ball inside. It's reflective. It's reflective. You can kind of see himself, and there's a metal corners. That's the artifact he sees for some reason. So that's what the artifact looks like that he found. It's covered, kind of muddy, covered in dirt. He cleans it off, and he puts it in his pocket. It's probably this big, probably the size of a Rubik's cube, I'd say. So, okay, now it's morning. Like I said, there's fog sweeping in to the ground, just hitting the feet, and he hears a wolf howling in the back. There's it's he looks up, he sees the sun kind of peeking through the tall tree lines. He walks back to his shack and where all of his tools are, it's locked up. He takes his key out, so let's give him a key. Let's say shack key. And did he lock the shack when he was, out working last night? I'd say 75% chance. He did, yep. So the shack's closed. He unlocks the shack door, opens it up. It's kind of like a wooden door, opens up, creaks open. Kind of a little, uh, the scent of tools and metal kind of hits his face. He opens the door, goes inside the shack. He's looking around. He's got tools hanging off the ceiling, chains. He's got shovels and rakes all over the place. He has a bench on the side. He even has a chair. Um, he's looking around for his like only real stuff that he's collected over the years from other graves. People, he's found swords, old rusty swords, a shield, a light armor like we have. So he equips all that stuff. He puts his trusty shovel to the side, and he's thinking of what else he needs to take. So while he's in his trusty shack, we need to think about what he can take. So on him, he has these items we rolled up from earlier, and well, before I recorded the character creation process. Bear trap, he has all this stuff. He said the bear trap might be handy. Crowbar could be handy, hand drill, all this stuff. So does he have anything as far as like he has food? Does he have a water skin in there? I'm going to say likely 75% chance. He does. So he'll take a water skin for liquid. Does he have anything as far as potions, perhaps? He does have a vial of poison that he uses to fend off wildlife if they get aggressive at him. Does he have potions, perhaps? I'm gonna say 50-50 on that one. He does, and yeah, he does have a potion. He takes a potion with him, thinking if it is we an adventure. Um, does he have a compass, perhaps? I'm thinking 25% chance. He doesn't. Nope, no compass. He's trying to think of where he would go. Does he have a map of the land at his grave site, at his work site? I'm gonna say 25% chance also. He doesn't. But he recalls he might have a map back at home. So we have to travel back to his village of Clohaven and get back to his well, actually, you know what? Does he live here? It is a shack attached to his house. Does he actually live at the grave site? I was thinking about that earlier. I'm gonna say 75% chance. He does. Okay, so he does live at the so I'm gonna erase the village from his home and note that Clohaven we'll leave Clohaven as it is. I don't want to get rid of it just yet. But he lives here at the Thorn Graveyard. So let's write that down. That he lives at Thorn Graveyard. He's very isolated. That would be, but the graveyard belongs like it's part of the village, so it actually is associated with Clohaven. Okay, so he needs to figure out where this prison is. I'm thinking the prison is way out there somewhere else. Like this is completely unexplored territory for at least. Remember, he's isolated, which I can add that to the details. He's a very isolated person. He's never ventured out in his life. He's just traveled between the village and the graveyard. So let's say there is a main path that goes this way. So he gets his stuff. He closes his shack door, locks the door. I'm thinking the shack also doubles as like a studio, like a kind of like a studio apartment. He has a bed in there. There's a small kitchen with a pantry, stuff like that. Just the general living quarters. So he locks the door. He's looking around and he's going to go towards the main road. I'm going to say the main road is over here that connects the village to the graveyard. So Clohaven, Thorn Graveyard, and there's probably a road. So he's going to go. He's trying to figure out how to find this prison. So I think he's gonna go back to his village and find an expert or someone who's familiar with the land or a map even. So he goes here. Let's roll explore die. There's a trail between the two areas. Let's do the terrain first. We have the six possible options. Grasslands. That's what I was thinking. So grasslands. Okay. So explore die. What do we find in the grasslands? Six. Danger, of course, right off the bat. So danger is going to be, let's see, is it hostile? Six. It is going to be hostile right when we started. Now, what is the danger going to be? Hostile. Encountered by terrain. Okay. So grasslands. I think it's on the backside. Grasslands. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to roll again because I keep rolling a six. Let's use the cut. I'm not a fan of rolling the same number over and over and over, so I'm going to change. There we go. One. A human. Okay. So it's a human. It's hostile. I'm thinking it's going to be, let's see, we have some choices here. Characters. Uh, maybe, let's see. Let's roll on the character chart. Two, and another adventurer. Okay. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, so there is another adventurer who is extremely hurt. He just dealt with some creatures, and he's been blinded. The creature, whatever he was fighting, this it's post battle. He just fended off some creatures that blinded him, probably with some acid or something that they spit out his eyes, and he's freaking out. He's holding his sword. He's looking around like, "Where are you?" He's shouting out, and we walk into this. Like Orion turns the corner outside the grave, and he sees a fully suited, a fully uh, equipped adventurer, and this guy is screaming at the top of his lungs with his sword pointing around. He's hostile, but he's not necessarily hostile to us. So we do we see the creature that he's fighting? I'm gonna say 80% chance we do. Okay. We don't. Okay, 98. We do not see the creature he's fighting. The creature ran off. Maybe he cut it. We see blood on the ground. We see footmarks. It was probably a wolf or something, sort of wild, ran off into the grass. And okay, so our character stutters. He's suspicious though. He backs up. Does is this adventurer completely blind? I'm going to say 75% chance. 90. He's not. Okay, so he's not completely blind. He sees us for a second, and he's kind of squinting. He's trying to clean off his face, whatever is covering his face, acid or some kind of liquid that this creature spit at him, and he starts to see us, and he puts his sword down. He says he asks us, "Where did it go? Where's the little fucker?" And we're kind of confused, but we're trying to remember we're not really trying to get uh, part. We're not really trying to get. Oriens doesn't want to be part of this. He doesn't want to have any trouble. He puts his hands up and he says, remember he stutters. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I literally just left. Literally just passing by. And the adventurer, he's looking around. He doesn't see the creature anymore. Maybe he cleans off his eyes, and he's just starting to figure out that yeah, whatever he was fighting is gone. It got it ran off. He's like he says, I think I got him, but that little bugger spit something at my eyes, and he's trying to wipe off his eyes. And um, what would Oregon do? That's the thing. So Oregon, I think he is going to perhaps ask him. What are you doing here? And the the adventurer says he's looking for something. He says, "I was on my way to the Thorn Graveyard. I'm looking for something. I believe it's there." And then he pulls out a map. It's this wrinkled parchment, this large wrinkled map. And then obviously, when he said looking for something, it could mean many things. It could mean several things. But again, Orion is suspicious. He he found this artifact, and now this adventurer. We think he's an adventurer. That's at least to our perception. That's to Orion's perception. I rolled adventurer, but now I'm thinking this could be a grave robber, as it makes more sense. I'm just thinking about it. So he says, "Oh, really? You're looking for something? Did you forget something? You buried someone recently?" And the the individual, the stranger, we haven't got his name yet. Does he reveal what he's looking for? Is he blunt about it? Let's do 50-50. He does. He says he's looking for an ancient artifact. He says that whoever finds it, there's an award, 1,000 gold pieces for it to be found. And Orion's eyes widen at 1,000 gold pieces. So this guy, see, let's do 1,000 gold pieces. There's an award, a reward to find it, 1,000 gold pieces. So Orion kind of covers his bag, like he puts his hand back with his weapon showing. He says, "Really? That's very odd. Why would such a thing be in a graveyard?" And the stranger, I remember at first we thought he was an adventurer, but now things are beginning to add up. This guy is just he's a grave robber. He's just somebody looking to make a quick dime. So he could be a bandit. He could be. But this individual says, "Oh, it's been rumored that this artifact was buried in the graveyard. Do you know anything about it?" He says, "You sure do look like you work here." And then Orion gets a little sensitive. He gets a little offended by it. He's like, why would you say that?" Because, our character is again, grizzled, burnt scars. We have a bunch of old markings. We're very, very suspicious looking. Not only are we suspicious of others, but we're suspicious looking. And so the adventurer's like, "Well, come on. You literally, okay, so we're really getting more details on this adventurer. So let's get a character here. Let's get a character listed. Do we need to really make more details about this person?" As this conversation's going out, I don't want to dive too much into the narrative, too much into the details, but they discuss, and this person, the stranger, learns that he just deduces that we are the grave, we are the grave digger. I'm sorry. Yeah, we are the yardsman or whatever you call it, the keeper, the keeper of this graveyard, and he pulls a sword out to us, so he does get hostile. Well, let's see if he gets hostile. I have a D6 here. What's his reaction to learning that we are the keeper? Two, curious. Okay, so he doesn't show his weapon. He walks up to us and he looks us in the face. And he says he believes we've seen that Orion has seen this artifact. He can tell that Orion is lit up by this whole conversation. Orion backs up and he says, "Keep your distance away from me." And so now, with that, I believe it's going to does this individual get a little more? Whoops, wrong dice. 75% chance. Does this individual get hostile? Like, does he want to question Orion more? He does. Okay, so this individual pulls a machete out and points it right out of Orion's neck. He says, "Tell me what the artifact is. I know you've seen it. I can see it in your eyes." And Now we're in an encounter. So we have a Orin has a, a machete or a cleaver, something at his throat, and let's roll for initiative. So if it's a tiebreaker, I will give it to the aggressor, who is this individual. Oh, okay, interesting way to land it. So four, we have a dexterity bonus of +1, so that's five, and they rolled a four. So luckily we broke that tie with our dexterity bonus. Okay, so we are now in an encounter, and let me grab a note card to track this encounter. This will be with I'm thinking it's a bandit. No one special, not like an NPC character for the adventure. So we're having an encounter, and it's at the entrance of the graveyard. There's two big pillars here with flames on them. Just they're kind of just these big torches on top of the graveyard. There's a gate. It's partially open like this. There's an entryway, a dirt path going to it, and there's a tree right here. There's another tree kind of poking out of the frame here. I could use the actually, you know what? Let me use the big pad we have right here. One second. All right, here we go. So we are the token as usual, and then we have this six-sided die to represent the enemy, this individual bandit that we've encountered at this bridge that leads to the graveyard to our left. As we're leaving, and this guy's coming right in, this bridge covers this. It's not a moat, it's just a river that passes through. So grasslands, I figured this picture kind of works perfectly. Now, um, we'll attack first, as usual. We don't have any, we have attack bonus of one. His armor is six. That's his starting health. Now the question is, will I follow Maze Rat's code and do the usual difference? I think so. We'll try it out. We might adjust the rules as we go. I'm still experimenting with Maze Rats compared to my house rules. That's always an ongoing process. Now, will his armor decrease? Perhaps. That's another perhaps. With the blows, I mean, if we damage him, will his armor go down? We'll see. I'm attacking with my short sword, defending ourselves with attack bonus of one. And oh, I got lucky. So that's one damage to him. So let's do this. I will follow it with the armor. So now he's down to five. Okay, so he attacks us now. Our armor is eight. Ooh, ooh, okay, that really hits hard. So he gets us, and that's a 12 damage. I'm sorry, 12. And let's see. Now, I take one hit, or I follow through with a difference of four. I'm gonna say I will do four damage. Or better yet, let's stick with one damage. I'm going to do that method instead because, well, that'd be two because it's doubled. So, like I said, I want to give our character a little extra hand to last longer. If this was Maze Rat's code, there'd be a difference of four times two. Our character will be dead because we have eight. I don't want that to happen, but I don't want to go easy on our character either. I don't want to give too much of a handicap. So what I'll do is give him two damage, and we hurt him by one, which that's fine. So even if I'm changing the rules here, technically it's as if we've been following the house rules in the beginning. So um, he's down to seven. I'm sorry, six. There we go. All right, now it's our turn to attack. His armor's five though, so we can get him plus one. Oh wait, wow! Once again, 4-1. God, that is really coincident. That's a real coincidence right there. So we get him plus one damage, so that's six, and that's a difference of one. I'm sorry, that's one damage from before. Okay, now he attacks. All right, let's see. We got. Oh, okay. So seven, eight, nine. That's a damage of one here. Okay, so whoops, we're down to five. All right, now it's our turn. Okay, this is getting really irritating. We're rolling the same thing. I swear I'm using the cup appropriately, but that's going to be another hit anyways. So 4, 1, 5 plus the bonus attack bonus of 1, so that's 6. He's now down to 3. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The difference. So the 4, that's a damage of 2. But I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself here. So he's down to 3. His armor goes down, but I'm only doing 1 damage per hit. Now it's his turn. Okay. Sorry, guys. The show is always a work in progress. All right. 2. That's not going to be a hit. It's our turn. I'm going to really roll it this time. 5-1. Okay, so that's a hit. He's now down to 2. Okay, now he's getting a little hurt. He's going to attack. That's a miss. That's our roll. That's not. Oh, actually, no, that hits. Even with our attack bonus, he's down to 1. He is backing up. He's collapsing. So let's do a morale roll. Can he? Because now it's his turn. Will he stay in battle? I'm going to say he has to roll higher than my AC. He does. Okay, so he stays in battle. He is grunting. He's really hurt, bleeding out, but he's staying in. We're gonna get closer because we see an advantage to roll, and we just have to hit 1 damage, and that's good night. He is out. So we kill him. We push his body off the bridge, and he falls into the river as he floats away. So we have officially defeated our first encounter with a clumsy combat, with my clumsy combat house rules, but it worked out. So let's get back to the hex map here. I'll put a character to the side. Usually use that token. I used the same token in my last video of Jasper, so it does kind of work out. Okay, so we are hurt. We're going to drink the potion, and I think that'll be a D6 heal. Let's see, where's my D6? There it is. Okay, how much is we're going to heal? 3. That works for me. 6, 7, 8. We're back to normal, but our potion is gone. Oh yeah, we still. Oh, I didn't loot the body. I pushed him off. Oh gosh. Okay, I forgot to loot the body. Did he drop anything? I'm gonna say 25% chance he dropped something. He didn't drop anything. All right, so I completely forgot to loot the body. Is his body floating away? I want to give my guy loot, but I don't want to be too easy on him. Is his body floating away in the water? 75% chance. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, so his body's gone. Maybe it doesn't occur to him that we need to loot him, so he doesn't. He's not going to loot him. Okay, so we dealt with that. So now we are Orion. His senses are heightened because he's worried now that there'll be others looking for. So that increases the chaos factor if we're looking at it from a Game Master Emulator standpoint. The chaos factor is higher now because there's others out there looking for it. So now I know how to kind of drive this narrative, this adventure, knowing that there's an award, 1,000 gold piece reward. But Orion himself wants to also have the reward for. He also wants to get the reward. It's money. So our character can be greedy. But now let's get back to the village. And does anything happen? Let's roll these 4 die. We know it's a village. 4. An omen. Okay, so he finds something. Let's see what that omen is. We're right here in D28 or 28D. The omen. Where are my omens at? Oh, here they are. 2. The weather. Okay, so the weather. Let's say I know there's weather here. Okay, it was foggy from earlier. Okay, the fog is clearing up. So he's back home and the fog is clearing up. So this is where we left off. We are now in the village of Clohaven, about to get back. Not our home, sorry. We are going to look for someone who might have information regarding the prison. Okay, so we're looking around town, the village. Do we find anybody that has any knowledge? Perhaps we're going to look for a vendor who travels. So do we find anybody 50-50 chance? We do. Oh yeah, that's a strong yes. We found someone. Okay. So this someone is a merchant, a traveling merchant. We ask him, "Do you know uh, anything about this artifact?" Pull the artifact out. Now, this individual, let's roll. Let's get to know him just a little bit, not too much. Let's say his motivation, perhaps. Let's roll. Let's see what we can use. We always need a little trait to run off. Kind of gives me the character. Crime. This merchant is on the run. So he is very, oh, okay, so he's not going to be good. He's a criminal, but he's hiding that. So he sees the artifact. We show it to him. Very, probably not a good idea, but we show him. He's like, do you know? Actually, no, I don't think. No, it's too late. I can't back away from it. He says, do you know much about this artifact? And I think from earlier. So does this man know much about this artifact? I'm going to say 25% chance he does. All right, let's try again. 25% chance. He doesn't know anything about the artifact. Okay, that's evident. But he's looking at it. He's really, does this criminal, apparently, does a merchant who's on the run, does he know about the artifact's reward? I'm going to say 50-50. Or you know what? 60%. He does. And we just dealt with someone who was giving us some trouble. Now, he does know about the reward. What is his approach to us? So his reaction, we'll go to the reaction down here. 3. He's indifferent. He sees we're weaponed. He's on the run. He hasn't given it away yet. He's a criminal, but he's indifferent about maybe snatching it from our hands. But he's looking at it. He's really entranced by it. And I think Orion, let's do a skill roll. Does Orion notice that this guy is like eyeballing it for himself? I have a willpower of 2. So we'll do the dungeons method, which is 6 or less is a fail, 7 through 9 is a partial success, 10, 11 is a success, 12 critical, 12 plus critical. Plus 2 on this. That's 6, 7, 8. He notices that uh, he's about to grab the the artifact. And again, Orion was pretty careless here. That was my mistake. He showed the item. Probably should have just asked him, "Do you know much about a prison?" But given the whole prison detail, that might have given something away. Perhaps if we're like, "Hey, what do you know about a prison on a coastline on top of a hillside?" This guy would have been like, "That's probably up north. Why do you ask?" And we'd be like, no, no reason. That would have been suspicious. That would have also been suspicious. But here is a 6 plus the 2 bonus. That's a 8. So that's a partial. So the guy grabs it, but while we're holding it, but that gives us a chance to hold it tightly. So now we're both holding it, and this guy's like, "Give me it." He's trying to tug on it. We're holding onto it, so we got to do a strength check here. He's trying to grab it out of our hands. He drops his cart as a merchant, a traveling merchant. He's trying to grab it out of our hands. We'll do a strength check. Can we hold it back from being stolen? This is the okay. We barely can. 7. That's a partial success. So how to interpret this? We do uh, pull out of his hands, but he, I think, shouts that he's going to cry wolf and shout out that, "Hey, this man just stole my item, just stole from me, guard, guard!" So he's shouting guard at the top of his lungs. And is there any guards nearby? Let's roll for it. I'd say it's a village 50-50. There's no guards around. He's yelling guard, guards. There's no guards, but there are other villagers looking at us. Remember, we're the grizzled grave digger isolated. We're really not in town much. So we really can be perceived in a bad way. So the villagers look disgusted. They're pointing, talking about us. We're holding this really nice fancy artifact, and the guy is kind of smirking. He's he's kind of looking like he's things are going out pretty well. Things are going well for him, and that he's yelling, "Give that back to me! You stole it from me!" Trying to fake it. Basically, it's he's just putting on a performance. And then, what will Oregon do here? So we stutter. We try to convince the crowd that no, no, this is mine. What are you talking about? Let's roll for Will. And ooh, actually, okay, so we are able to convince the villagers that as they kind of gather around, they're seeing what the whole commotion is. That's 11 plus 12, 13. That's a critical. He's like, no, I found this. Look, there's mud on it. I'm the grave digger. This is mine. And he's really talking down. He's stuttering. He's like, no, no, no. I did this. There's mud in it. See, this is mine. I found it myself. This is mine. And he convinced the villagers. The villagers they weren't partial to the whole hey, stolen, this is mine. But now the criminal is an outsider, or I should say the merchant. He's an outsider. They don't know him that well. The villagers are on the point, and they're murmuring about him, kind of like whispering to each other. And the merchant's noticing, so he's kind of backing off. And he knows that the villagers are kind of having the gravedigger's back on this one. So he's backing up. His hands are up. He's like, all right, all right, all right. He's like, yeah. And then he turns around and let's do a morale check. Does he stick around? Remember, it has to match my AC. 7. He doesn't. He's hesitant, but Orion shows his blade. He unsheaths his sword. He said he stutters. He said, you don't want to mess with me. There's fresh blood on the sword." He shows a sword, and there is blood on it. And then the merchant, obviously the criminal, he he kind of eyes open and he grabs his cart and runs off. So he bolts back through the trail to the main road. So whew, we really avoided something there. So that was pretty intense. So that's all I'm going to do for this episode of Orion's Adventure. I'm not really sure what to call it, but I'll have a title up on the screen. Maybe the search for the prison or prison artifact. We'll figure it out. But I hope you guys enjoyed. This was just a kind of an experiment. I'll see if this goes on. I've used this single sheets before. It works pretty well. It has some limitations on choices, but I have to improvise and create my own. And I do apologize about the moments I had to change the rules and go back to my house rules. But in the end, I think it worked out pretty well. So that was it for this video. I'm Lexa Gray, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.